Okay, so here we have a periodic table that's been kind of exploded out, right? It's kind of like the explosion diagram of the periodic table, so that we can add things on the sides, all right? And what we've done here is we've organized this by the different types of orbitals, all right? Remember we talked about the S, the P, the D, and the F, right? Okay. How many different shapes did we have for the S? Yeah, there was only one shape for it, but how many electrons can you have in total? 2, right? Because each of those suborbitals can have 2 electrons. So here we have number of electrons, and then we can call this is our kind of our suborbital right here. What about for the P's? How many different shapes did they have? They had 3. How many total electrons can they have? They were 6, all right? But the second energy level had the S's and the P's, and that's why you might think 8, all right? And then the D's, how many were there for D? There were 5, good. And then 5 times 2, 10. And then the F's, 7. And 7 times 2 is 14. Good. Okay. So you can see a pattern, right? It's just going by odd numbers for the number of orbitals, 1, 3, 5, and 7. And the electrons are just double that. Okay? So if we look at this periodic table here that we've kind of expanded out, and as we're doing this, remember with periodic table we kind of count across. So all of these have 2, right? So out of these 4 options, what one has 2? Yeah, the S's, right? So the S's have 2. So this is the S region. So we're going to put an S above there. And then we're going to have to label all of these. So the top of it is going to be S1. And then this one's going to be S2. All right? Do you ever play the game Battleship? Yeah, I have letters and numbers. We're going to do something like that. We're going to give every element on the periodic table kind of like a grid like that, okay? And down the side here, it's already numbered for us. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here we have 1s1. See the combo? 1s1. And then 1s2 is helium, right? Okay? So we need to label all these. Now, which of them falls into which of these best fits this one? Well, there's 6 across, right? There's 6 across. So this is going to be the P section. All right, so this is going to be P1, P2, 3, 4, 5, P6. That's a 5. All right. And the P's, where do they start? Do they start at 1? If we go across here, you can see it doesn't start at 1, it actually starts at 2, right? So the second energy level is the first energy level where you can have the P's. So we're going to fill in some numbers here. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. All right? Next one. This has 10 across. So this section is the D's, the transition metals, D. So it goes from D1 all the way to D10. Okay, so there we have all the D's. Good? Now the second energy level is not big enough, doesn't have the right amount of energy for us to have the D's there. So the first energy level that we're going to have with the D's is going to be actually the third. All right? Even though if you look here, it's the 4th energy level, if you go across, it actually ends up being on the 3rd energy level. And I'm going to show you what this looks like later on when we actually do electron configuration. So right now we're just labeling, all right? But if this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. Another way to think of it is each section starts with the next number. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this would be 4 and then 5. Even though if you look 58, 57 is right in here, it's in the 6th period. It's actually 2 lower. All right, and these are all the Fs. So, and it goes from F1 all the way up to F14. Now, there are exceptions to this, but again, this year we're not going to worry too much about it. It's for later on. Okay. But now we have the whole periodic table kind of plotted out. So if you wanted to figure out, all right, what's 5P1, you could look at this thing and look and say, okay, so 5P1 is right here, number 49. Or 3P3 is right here. It's P, it's phosphorus. All right? Just like the game Battleship, right? Okay. All right, any questions with that? Again, we're just labeling it right now. Yeah, Scotty. Oh, this one? This is the number of suborbitals. So these are your orbitals here. This would be your suborbitals. So that's why there's 3 different kinds of P. There's 5 different kinds of D, 7F. Okay. All right. All right. Any other questions?